let's address the elephant in the room that is skill-based matchmaking. And why you're the problem. Don't dislike just yet. Let me explain. Firstly, let's put some gameplay on. So, skill-based matchmaking is something that... It's a tricky one, really, because I don't mind it so much, and I know how to work it, and I also know how frustrating that it can be, and how it seems like the game is always against you. Because it does seem as if you get good at the game, you've spent years, like people have been playing Call of Duty a lot longer than what I have. I started playing Call of Duty Online religiously about 2011, 2012 time. Black Ops Modern Warfare 3. That was my first real iteration. I dabbled before, but never got into them. So I've spent at least 10 years now getting better and better at the game. So therefore you would kind of think that I would be somewhat decent. I mean, you know, people played it more often than I have over that time, but nonetheless, I've continuously played Call of Duty for about 10 years, so therefore I should be decent. And you kind of think at that point, you should not necessarily have the right, but you should have better ways of playing that people have only just introduced themselves to the game, which is somewhat correct and somewhat incorrect at the same time. Without beating around the bush, the matter of the fact is, if you're struggling with the skill-based matchmaking right now, it's because you're too good. That's the issue. You're probably thinking, too good, you're so full of shit, I'm average. I thought I was average. Turns out I'm not average. Turns out I'm really fucking good. According to the kill-death ratios. What is our kill-death ratios in Modern Warfare? Hell if I know, we can't check. But nonetheless, this is where the problem lies. What do you honestly think that the average kill-death ratio is in Call of Duty? Whether that be multiplayer, Warzone, Battle Royale, whatever. What do you think the average KDR is? If you've guessed 1 or above, you're the problem. Because it's not. Nowhere near. And I have done research on this. This took time. And look, the reality of the situation is, if you have a 1 kill death ratio or higher, I know, you're in the top 20% of players. Yeah. So you probably think, oh, me average Joe, 1 KD, you know, I should be with the bang average people. You're not bang average, that's a problem. That's why you're getting put with what seems like sweaty players all the time, because whether they're sweaty or not, whether they're casual like you, you're in the top 20%. That's where you stand. And if you've got a kill death of 1.5 and higher, then you're in the top 10%. And after that, it's ridiculous. Like, a 1.5 kill death ratio in Call of Duty is, you know, random matchmaking. Realistically, is it that hard to get if you really try? I wouldn't have said, I said it's a challenge, but I wouldn't have said it would put you in the top 10% in the world. And over a 1 KD, do you think that's easy to get hold of? You do that in your fucking sleep? No, you can't. That's 20%. That's the top 20% at what we would consider bang average. And that's the problem. The algorithm, the matchmaking, is seeing you, Joe Blogs, 1.02 KD, and thinking he's a fucking beast. And you probably think, well, you know, I don't like to brag, but I've got a statue of my own jizz. But you are. You're like one of the best top 20% of people who play the game. It's nuts. It's crazy that you would kind of think any Johnny Balland could hold down a 1 kill death ratio. It's not something that's hard to do. But turns out it's actually quite a challenge. And it's not that the well, the algorithm does hate you because you are too good. So how do we combat this? Because the average kill death ratio in multiplayer, across my research between multiplayer, different factors, multiplayer, Warzone, Battle Royale, blah 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 blah, your average kill death is anywhere between 0.6 and 0.9. This is where these people are. So if you get someone who is below skill than you, they're going to be in the beyond what we would class average. But that is average. What we would class as something is so subpar and is so minimal as a point, you know, 0.6 to 0.8 kill death ratio, that's where the majority of players are, and we're in this top 10%. So it's getting ourselves back down to where these players are to be able to have what we would want in terms of being able to jump in and show off the skills that we've learned over the past 10 years or more or less. And I think that we should be able to do that in some retrospect. Like, shitting on people all the time, no, it's not fun all the time, but it is though, as well. It's fun to go and dominate a lobby, and I'm not going to say it isn't, because it is, man. I do YouTube videos. Obviously, it makes me look better if I go in and have a great time and have some absolute great lobbies. I say, you know, I'm not going to show the ones where I do shit. So it's in my best interest to work hard at it and try and get myself some decent gameplay. So therefore, it is frustrating when you are trying to do this to make content as well. So when I genuinely find that I do best is when I'm lying on the sofa, barely even focusing, you know, like just lying on your back, just like staring at your telly, all your chins are coming forward, you're picking pizza up off your chest, you know, that kind, where you're just slouched over and you'd have no idea how you aim. That's when I usually have the great games. But there is a way of combating the skill-based matchmaking to make it work in your favour, and that is, it doesn't take all of, well, it does take all your data from your previous titles as well, but from what I understand is the last 5 games are really important. The algorithm isn't necessarily out to get you all the time. It wants people to have at least one good game a session because it wants to keep people engaged. And the way to do this is have 3 games where you're a complete bot, run around, shoot your gun, do some knife challenges. Knife challenges are fine. That's genuinely, if you want just like a chilled experience, run around with a knife. And firstly, that's fun as well. Alright, if you just go run around, do some knife challenges, get your gun out, just shoot it in the air a little bit, so the game thinks that you're playing properly. Do that for about 3 games, and then you will have people who just don't shoot back. And that's the reality of it. That's how you beat the matchmaking algorithm. But in the grand scheme of things, the reason you think skill-based matchmaking hates you is because you're too good. You've been too good for years. You've had it too good for years. You know, when you were getting swarms in Black Ops 2, when you were getting Moabs in Modern Warfare 3, you had it too good in life. You're not allowed that anymore. We're taking that away from you. Because all them other people who enjoy doing that at the same time, they're now in your lobbies, and that's why it makes you feel like you're playing clones of yourself. Not because not because the skill-based matchmaking is out to get you, it's just because the algorithm thinks that you have a kill-death ratio of 1 or above. Therefore, it thinks you're a fucking Call of Duty god. And that's why you're getting stuck in these sweaty lobbies. And if you have a kill-death ratio above 1, like moi, like you, like anyone else, then that's why you're struggling the majority of the time to have really good games. The algorithm does hate you a little bit, hates me too as well, but that's a problem. You're just too good. So if you tone it down a little bit, and yeah, you throw some results here and there, you're probably going to find you have it a lot easier. Does your kill death ratio matter? Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, might get you laid one day, but I don't think it actually will.